Hello. The weather is still hot and humid, and all I seem to do is water and weed and not much else. But at least things have picked up and growing. These squashes at long last started producing, but compare that to the size of my fist, it should be massive by now, but everything is like 3-4 weeks behind this year. This bed, the borage, is doing well and it's self-seeded. Typical. The one that self-seeded has done better than all the other ones that are planted. They're doing all right, but this one is doing great and the bees are absolutely loving it. The rest of it I've had to clear. There's still some beetroot almost ready to harvest, and there's some more there which will be ready to harvest in a bit. I'll sort the rest out. There's a few little weeds left, but the slugs ate a lot of things. You know, they basically decimated everything, and these things they just ate everything. I didn't have anything to put in. I'll put some more seeds in now, but can't be helped. So I've got no lettuces because this stuff has gone over, so then it's no good to eat. And I put in some lettuce and kale, and I put this shade cloth over the top of it because it's been that hot. And this is the only brassica that's survived. I think it's because I put it in later than the others. The lettuce is doing all right, so we should get some lettuce soon, but for the moment I've got no lettuce. And these courgettes have started going in earnest now. They sat and sulked for well over a month because it was too cold and damp for them, but now they seem to like the weather now and they're going great. These early courgettes have just about had it. Misshapen one, that's because of the pollinators. There's still the odd one coming through, so I'll keep watering them for a bit longer, and then once they're done, they're done. This Good King Henry is okay. It's the only seedling that survived, but I've had a taste and I'm not that impressed by eating it raw. I'll wait till I've tried it cooked, so when it grows a bit bigger I'll take some leaves and cook it. I don't think I'll bother growing it again because it's not to my liking. These salad burnet, again, they're not the tastiest of salad leaves, but it is a perennial and it's an evergreen. I don't think I'll be using it during the summer, but in winter it will be a nice little addition to winter salads, just to bulk them up a bit, because obviously there won't be that much lettuce and things about. These chives that I grew from seeds that I saved from this one, I think it's got more seeds. Well, it's dropped a lot of seeds. You can see there's more, it's got more seeds coming. So those will be dotted around a brassica plants just to sort of confuse the butterflies. Mind you, I haven't seen many cabbage white butterflies around this year, but then the slugs have eaten everything, there's nothing for them. So perhaps next year we will not get many because there won't be many left. We'll see. I took a load of tomatoes from the greenhouse the day before yesterday, so I got about 10 days worth of tomatoes at home, and it's still coming. So I'll take some pickings and give them away. The chilies are doing all right. These ones are ripening nicely. The aubergines are a bit behind. They didn't like the cold and being attacked by the spider mites and other insects, but they're producing. And this one is going to be for dinner tomorrow night. The peppers, a few good sized peppers on those, so I'm happy with those. Again, they were a bit slow to get going because of the cold. And the Marmont tomatoes doing okay. They're not as big as I was hoping, but then the weather's not been favourable and I haven't thinned them. I should have thinned them to get fewer but bigger ones, but I didn't. And these San Marzano tomatoes, they should be huge, great tomatoes, and look at the size of them. Tiny things. They should be up to here, full of big tomatoes by now, but they just sat and sulked because of the weather. They're still flowering and going, but they're not what they should be. I'll have a pick and take some of these, but you know, this is more like a cherry tomato. But to contrast this borage with the one in that other bed, these are okay. They're a bit smaller, but unfortunately don't see any bees on this one. This celeriac has gone to seed, which is a pity. and this other one's gone to seed. Oh, my celery went to seed, so I'm not surprised. Kept watering this to try and keep it hydrated. I don't think it liked the heat. Oh, I've lost those. There's a few other ones going, so when I thin those out I'll see what the state the others are. I've been thinning this apple tree behind me and taking the thinnings home, the bigger apples, so I can make some puree out of those. And the really small ones, obviously they're no good, so they're going in the compost. So that's one job for today. The slugs have eaten every single seed on the sweet corn in this bed. So I don't know what's happening with the sweet corn, because normally you would look at the silks to know when they're ready to harvest, but I don't know. I can't look at the silks, and I'm not even sure that they were pollinated before the slugs ate the silks. So I'll just have to keep watering them and looking after them and weeding them and everything, and hope that I'll get a few decent cobs out of it. Now that this raised bed is almost clear, apart from those beetroot, and I might pick them today. Might leave a few in just to grow on a bit. But apart from this borage, there's not much else in here now. I'll rip everything else out, because the other chard is starting to go to seed as well, the chard that was here. I've got a volunteer potato. So now that the bed is almost clear, I can top it up with some compost. That's about it really. That'll keep me busy all day, so I'll do that and bring you back when it's done. Well, it's been a productive day. I didn't get as much done as I'd hoped. I didn't manage to get the sweet corn case sorted because it took me a bit longer to do the other jobs. That when I started sorting the apple tree, there was a lot of weeds under it, and by the time I cleared all that, and people popped in and started chatting and had some long conversations. So that's allotment life, these things happen. But I'm not going home empty-handed. Now the cabbage isn't mine. I was telling a neighbour that the slugs had eaten all my cabbage seedlings, and he said he'd got some cabbages, and then later on he brought me a cabbage. I had more tomatoes in here. These are the eating tomatoes and the cooking tomatoes, which is very poor. It's been a really bad year for the outdoor tomatoes. They just sat and sulked, but hopefully now that the weather has turned, this should be alright. When he came around and brought me the cabbage, I gave him some tomatoes and I gave him some basil that I'd picked. So I've got a little bit of basil left. I picked that little courgette and then some peppers and aubergine. So these will go into curries. Well, this will go into a curry. These will probably go with a cabbage in a stir fry. I'm going to lettuce, but I've got some watercress. It's looking a bit limp because I picked it too early. I think it's looking a bit limp, so I'll get it washed and get it in the fridge. And same with the basil. And I picked a few more apples that are not quite ready, but they're a size that I can use to make a puree. There's a lot of blackberries, and my neighbour said, oh, come and pick some of my blackberries because they've got so much that they don't know what to do with it. So they're eating as much as they can, and they're still coming, and you know the freezer is got loads in, so they don't need any more. So he said, well, come and help yourself to some more. So I picked some, and it'll be a nice thing to go on my porridge in the winter.